How's it going, everyone? It is me, the Lone Vault Wanderer, here with a discussion video because there's not really that much interesting news going around that at least I want to talk about. So I thought it would be a cool idea to talk about my experiences with the Nintendo Switch about 2 months plus after the console was released on the 3rd of March. And especially because the Switch, while it is selling very well, in fact it is Nintendo's fastest selling console, if my memory serves me correct, not many people own this console, right? I mean, it might have millions of owners out there. I think a couple of million, something like that. Don't quote me on those numbers. I didn't really check, to be honest. But there are still millions of gamers, and I'm sure many of you, that don't own this console and that have been a bit lukewarm in terms of whether to buy this console. In fact, I've had several people that have tweeted at me and asked, Lone, should I buy the Nintendo Switch? And to be honest, I can't make that decision for you. You need to look at the games that are out for the Switch, importantly, and yes, considering the fact that you can play it anywhere you want and also play it on the TV, and then make your own mind up as to whether you want to buy it, as to whether you think it's value there for you. For me, personally, there is value, I will get to that, but I'm not going to give you a formal recommendation to buy this console because it's something that I see that it's not really for everyone, to be honest. But I'll get into my thoughts 2 months in after the release of the Nintendo Switch. And before we get into my thoughts, I'd like to ask all of you the question. 1, if you don't own a Nintendo Switch, do you have any intentions of picking one up in the near future? And if so, or if not, tell me why. And second, if you do own a Nintendo Switch, please let me know your thoughts about the console in the comments below. So, 2 months in, what do I think about the Nintendo Switch? Well, I can say quite confidently that I have not played this much video games as I have with the Nintendo Switch compared to before I purchased this console. Because with me, I've talked about this in the past, I have a full-time job, right? So I'm at work from like 8 to 6 o'clock and I get home at around 6. And then usually most nights, I think it's about 4 nights a week plus the days on the weekend, I'm doing YouTube content. So in terms of my free time outside of those hours, I don't really have much time to play games, of course excluding the fact that I stream on the weekend, but even outside of that, sometimes I don't always get to stream because of personal commitments. I need to spend time with my girlfriend, sometimes I have to work overtime. There's a lot of things that prevent me from playing video games. In the traditional sense, you know, sitting on a couch, playing a game on a console, or sitting on my PC and playing a game there. Before the Nintendo Switch came out, I wasn't really playing that many games. And that's the first big point that I really want to emphasize about the Nintendo Switch. It has allowed me to play so much video games over the past couple of months that I've had it, because of the fact that you can take it on the go and play it wherever you want. So I commute into work every day, 30 minutes to work and then 30 minutes back. So that's about roughly an hour every day that I'm sitting on a train that without the Nintendo Switch, I'd be doing nothing. I'd be checking my phone or doing something else because I don't really like to play mobile games. It's just not my thing. But with the Nintendo Switch, as soon as I get on the train, in fact, sometimes I'll leave early to sit on the train like 5 minutes before it leaves to get to work, I would just play the Nintendo Switch from start to end. And for a while, it was Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and now I'm really into Mario Kart 8, which is just the perfect game to play on a train, right? I mean, you could get through a cup if you do really well on a train ride, and perhaps another couple of races after that. It's just a fucking amazing game to play on a train. But just generally with the Switch, the fact that I can play console-style games on a handheld on a train while commuting to work is a big thing for me. It's essentially created 50 minutes to an hour extra every single workday, so 5 days a week, to be able to play video games that I just didn't have before because I didn't enjoy mobile games. I just didn't play them on a train. But now with the Switch, I'm playing 50 minutes to an hour more of video games every single workday. And that's huge for me. To be honest, that's massive for me. And also as well, it's the kind of console where you can just bring it to bed and play it for 30 minutes before you sleep. I can play it as a video is exporting on my PC. I'll just bring it in front of me as my video editing software does its thing, and I'll play a couple of rounds of Mario Kart, or I'll play some Zelda, or even now I've just recently purchased Minecraft that I'm going to get into, but I really want to smash out Mario Kart 8 first. It's a console that just creates time for you to play video games, and that would simply not be the case if it was a traditional console that you could only play while sitting on a couch or whatever at home in front of a TV. The fact that it's portable enables me to play so many more video games than I ever did before. However, I do need to mention though, that's because I commute to work on a train, mind you. For people that drive into work, or for the people that need to stand up on a bus or something like that, you might not be able to to play a Nintendo Switch as I have. So the prospect is different there if you can't really play it on the go when you're going to a job or to school or whatever it is. And when you come home, that's your only real time to play it, because then, if that's the case, the Nintendo Switch is just like every other console. The true value with the Nintendo Switch comes when you're able to play it outside of the house and inside of the house. And of course, I still do both. I do play the Nintendo Switch on my TV. Sometimes I have a little bit of free time and I'll play it before dinner, and I'll just like to play it on my TV. It's very versatile in that regard, but still, one of the main aspects of it is playing it on the go. And if you can't do that, then you might not find the benefit or the value like I do with my own Nintendo Switch. And secondly, arguably the most important facet or factor of the Nintendo Switch are the games and the support for it, especially the third-party support for the Switch. So far, I've only played Nintendo games. I purchased, of course, Minecraft on the Switch, but I haven't really played that. I played it for like 20 minutes just to test it out. But really, I've played Breath of the Wild for about 80 hours plus, and I've played Mario Kart 8 for about 20 hours plus. So I guess this is not really a negative, but it's something that I need to point out. And that's the games that I've played so far, 2 months in, have been solely Nintendo games. And if that's not for you, then you might not find value in the Nintendo Switch. But I do need to mention though, of course, the games that are on the Switch are not just Nintendo games. Those are just the games that I've been playing, and arguably, those are the real blockbuster games on the Switch. At launch, without a doubt, it was Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. And all the other games that are on there weren't really AAA blockbuster. I guess you can consider some games to be, but to be honest, in terms of the big games that everyone wanted to play, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild was the only one out there for a fairly long time. But yes, there are other games on there that if you like to play, you'll find benefit in that too. But Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild was such a large game. Again, I put 80 hours into it, and that probably pales in comparison to what other people have put into that console. But because it was such a large game, I was able to really space it out over the couple of months preceding Mario Kart 8 releasing on the console. And now I'm taking a bit of a break with Breath of the Wild and playing Mario Kart 8. I'll pick it up again soon and just completely finish that game. I envision myself putting about 100 hours total into Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. So it was really good pacing, if you will, in terms of the release schedule of those main Nintendo games. And there are a good number of games coming to the Nintendo Switch in the future. I've built up a bit of a list that I'll just read out to you. So NBA Playgrounds came out recently, of course Minecraft on the Nintendo Switch, Ultra Street Fighter 2 The Final Challenges, which is an old game, but still it's something that's coming out that I'm looking forward to. Also Minecraft Story Mode is coming out, The Binding of Isaac, Stardew Valley, Splatoon 2, NBA 2K18, The Elder Scrolls Skyrim, which I'm going to buy that and play the shit out of. Like, I put 80 hours plus into Zelda. I'm probably going to be doing the exact same with Skyrim on the Switch. And I know people are going to be yelling at me and saying, Lone, why are you playing Skyrim on the Switch? Play it on the PC or at least the console, for God's sake. Those are the superior versions, especially when you consider mods. I agree, yes, but I've been open and honest about this in the past. I haven't really played Skyrim a sufficient amount, and certainly I haven't finished the game. I haven't even finished a bulk of the quests. Like, to be honest, I'll say I haven't really played Skyrim, right? And that's exactly why I don't mind playing it on the Nintendo Switch, and that's because it's just the vanilla version and I can play it the way it was intended. Even if you consider Fallout, I only really mod games once I've played it once or maybe twice, and then I see the value in modding and being able to add replayability and more game time, etc. But regardless, I'm looking forward to Skyrim. Super Mario Odyssey is obviously going to be one of the biggest games coming to the Nintendo Switch later this year. Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, I'm going to be playing the shit out of that as well. Hopefully I have people I can play against. FIFA 18, I can't wait to play FIFA 18 on the Switch. Payday 2, which is a big surprise that was recently revealed, is coming to the Nintendo Switch allegedly this year. And of course Yooka-Laylee, even though it didn't really get good reviews, I still want to give that game a chance. And apparently there's going to be an untitled Pokemon game. So you see there, it's not just Nintendo games that are coming to the Switch. Yes, those are still the focus, mind you, but there are other games like Payday and Skyrim and of course Minecraft that aren't Nintendo properties, that are third party, that are coming to the Switch. And you've also recently heard EA say that they want to support the Nintendo Switch more and bring more games to it, aside from throwing it a bone like FIFA, for instance. Of course, we just have to take that at face value. We don't really know if EA is serious about that. I believe they said similar things about the Wii U in the past, and that never came to fruition. But But it's positive, right? It's positive to see third-party publishers at least say good things about the Switch and how they want to bring games. It's also, in addition to that, very good to see the fact that Nintendo Switch has great sales numbers, even better than Nintendo expected, I believe, too. And the games are selling fairly well too. I mean, last week, Super Mario Kart beat out Prey in terms of sales numbers, which is a multi-plat game. That's massive. That's absolutely massive for a relatively new console. But of course, can the console stand to get more games and especially third-party support? Of course it can, absolutely. And I think that's still going to be the biggest factor that turns away most people from the Nintendo Switch, at least for the foreseeable future, because it's still a relatively pricey console, $300 in the US, $460 Australian. I know it's expensive here. And when people have the choice to put their money into that or the new Project Scorpio coming out, maybe a PS4 Pro, and comparing the games libraries of those different consoles, of course the Nintendo Switch does pale in comparison. So yes, certainly it can stand to get more games, it can stand to get more third-party support, and the last thing that I'll mention, it certainly can stand to gain the virtual console. I've been pushing for this since day one of the Nintendo Switch. I was kind of disappointed that the Switch did not have a virtual console on launch. Even though they're old games, even though they're mostly Nintendo games, it's still something that could add real value to the Switch. Even if those games just helped you pass the time between new big releases like Super Mario Odyssey and Skyrim and Payday 2, that's good enough for me at least. I would still appreciate that. And of course also the fact as well that nostalgia is a big factor for me, and I can't wait to play those older games again, especially the Legend of Zelda series. So anyways, Wastelanders, those are my long thoughts about the Nintendo Switch about 2 months in. To sum it up, I'm enjoying the console, I'm playing more video games than I ever have before, I'm liking the lineup of games that are coming down the future. Could it stand to gain more third-party support in other games? Of course it can, especially the virtual console, but overall, I'm happy with the console. It's serving what I needed perfectly. But let me know your thoughts in relation to the questions I asked at the beginning of this video in the comments below, and until next time, this has been the Lone Bot Wanderer. Please take care of yourself, and would you kindly keep fighting the good fight.